It is everywhere. We don't see it, but when it's not working, it is really noticeable. I'm not talking about your Wi-Fi, I am talking about energy. So today I have the privilege to have a great conversation with a group of fantastic people, all energetic healer, and we're going to discuss and define what is energy and what is energetic healing. So maybe we'll start with Irina. Irina is the president of the International Energetic Healing Association. I'd like to ask you, Irina, what is for you energy and energetic healing?
Hi everyone, and so good to finally have get together to start this beautiful project. This is just the tester for everyone, for the public out there, for practitioners, for us all, just to remember that energy is all of us. And to me, when I hear energy, it's the uniting force. It's the common denominator for all of us and everything around us.
Because I know you all practice different modalities. How did you come across energetic healing? How did it show up in your life, and how do you use it?
It came across about 12 years ago when my best friend dragged me to the Crystal Lady. So I was a friend of hers that was practicing crystal healing. And back then I was completely skeptical about all the holistic or, alternative healing methods. She laid me down in the bed, she put some crystals on me, and I cannot say that I felt amazing after, but definitely she said something that started to resonate with me. And then I started to get interested. I started to read about things, and now it would have been 5 years ago, I discovered that Natural Care College had a diploma in energetic healing. And that's where I enrolled. That's where I met Irene and Martine. And I finished my diploma, and now it's been 3 years that I'm practicing as an energetic healer.
And what modality do you use? Do you use crystals as well, or?
Yes, I use crystals. I use chakra balancing. So I work a lot with the chakras, meditation, and also EFT tapping. Those are my favorite modalities.
So I, like you, a lot of people are skeptical about energetic healing. And can anyone share or maybe explain what is energy, where it comes from, how we perceive it, how we project it, and how it works basically?
I believe that energy is the infrastructure of the universe. And I believe everything is energy. Whether it's a person, a quantum physicist and a spiritual teacher will tell you exactly the same thing. And this is the great emerging, if you like, of science and spirituality at some levels. I believe that as energetic healers, we are repairing the fabric of the universe itself when we work with somebody. If the energy is the infrastructure, then I believe it's consciousness that brings it to life and gives it character and color, texture. And I think sometimes it's the consciousness on that infrastructure of energy. What we're doing is we're blending consciousness with another person with a pure intention to help them to release the energetic barriers that are holding them back. I've been across many modalities over the years. I started with Reiki, moved into hypnotherapy, had to invent my own modalities over the years because I could see things blending that weren't really uniquely different. I was always looking for the common ground. And the energetic healing is the first thing that, for my mind, brings all of this together into a pure intention to be of service to others.
So can we say that energetic healer are like the catalyst, or almost like you're channeling the energy to support people to remove the blocks or help the energy go where it's supposed to go?
Well, I like to think of it as we're helping them to remember their magnificence, and that everybody is beautiful, pure, perfect as an energetic being. And sometimes we fall into a different vibration in order to learn. I think that we're restoring people's knowing of who they really are, and it looks like healing, but I feel it's more about people remembering who they really are.
Beautiful. So talking about vibration, for someone who has absolutely knowledge or limited knowledge about energy healing, what is a vibration, or what's the beginning of it? Is there high, low vibrations? How does that all work?
To me, energetic healing is very much what just said now, but it's also like the art of allowing the body-mind system of a person to heal naturally and in its own unique way, and while you support the interferences to be released, which prevented the healing in the first place. So you work with the person's energy. So it's very important that the person is totally engaged in the process, because it's very experiential and very transformational and very educational, because as you process information, you cannot not feel the energy. When people come in and they start talking about something, they start feeling things in their body. And it's very often manifests as a symptom or as a sensation in the body. And then the whole process is to help them keep tuning in so they can process what the body wants to do. So it's a discovery process, really. And you never know what comes up. But, it's highly educational, because people start learning that they are fully responsible for their energy, and they command the energy, and they need to be in charge. So, it's the ultimate preventive medicine. If everyone take charge of the energy and start paying attention to what their body is telling them about it, they cannot be chronically sick. It's not possible. That's why education is very important. That's why the IEHA is a very important organization, because it helps teaching, concept of energy and educate people to be more responsible.
Thank you, Martin. And this is incredibly empowering, because that means that
Yes,
we are individually in charge of our energy, and the healer is only here to facilitate it.
yeah, actually the energetic healing only happens within the person. So the practitioner just facilitates and just, like, I trust the body system totally. So I just follow what the body says and just keep the person engaged, and it just unfolds naturally. So I use a lot of imagery during the process, because imagery is so powerful to give the person information about what's going on, metaphorically speaking. And this is how the subconscious mind talks through the body sensation. So it's very empowering for the person, because they do the healing themselves, and they know that at the end of the session, because they don't know the work. We just guide them, and we just support the space. So it's very empowering for the person. And our duty is to make sure they feel empowered, so they know they can do it, that nobody else is doing it to them. My background is Chinese medicine, so I do a lot of acupressure technique, or the emotional freedom technique, because that engages the person like very strongly. So they're actually doing it to their body. So it's very empowering. And I use a lot of imagery work and energetic healing, and sometimes acupuncture, whatever they need to process whatever is happening.
So someone very skeptical could say, I'm not feeling the energy. So when we feel the energy, how does it show up?
Well, for me, I mean, the work that I do, I focus on getting a person connected to their own body so they can feel their own energy. So rather than, I use my voice a lot. I don't actually put people on the table very often. So for me, the energy is about using my voice to get them connected to their own bodies and to their own healing abilities, so that they understand themselves and why they're where they're at, and how they can actually really shift their own energy. So when they drop down deep enough into their own energy system, they can feel what's going on in there, what's out of balance, what's not, and they can move that energy themselves by connecting and having a relationship with the energy that's in their body, the blocks, so that's just automatically released as they really connect with it.
To describe the feeling in a very tangible way, what I would feel as a patient is, maybe I feel the heat, or I feel stuck somewhere in my body, or tingling.
Okay. Not necessarily. So for me, it's like you come to me with something, a problem, and I'll say to you, where do you feel that in your body? Where's the sensation of that in your body? And you then describe it. And so you might have sinus, for instance, and I might get you to connect with that. There's a whole heap of books out there written about what it means to have a sinus infection or sinus problems metaphysically. But for me, it's like connecting you to why you've got that, and then you getting an understanding of that, and then being able to shift that yourself. And so that's very empowering. So you're in alignment with your own energy on that level. So you get to understand yourself, and in that find the truth about who you are, and therefore the connection with the divine, the energy of the universe, basically.
So as Martin was saying before, that requires the person to be open to receive and to be part of the process of the experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Someone is very skeptical and say, "Oh, I do it because my neighbor said it works," but they're really not really on the page. Will they also get some results or some sort of shift happening?
It depends whether they want it or not.
So is there a way to explain to those really, really hardcore believe what I see people? Is there a almost scientific way to explain it in terms of, I don't know, atoms and things like that?
I try and keep it really simple myself. It's like, we all know we walk into a room and we can feel if somebody's been angry in that room. So for me, I go really basic if somebody's that skeptical.
I always talk with my clients about water, right? So you have water, which is liquid, okay? And that's a particular state. Then you have water, which is ice. And that's still water, but the frequency is different. It's lower. And then you have water, which is your vapor. And that's still water, but a different frequency as well. And that is energy. So the same material has different frequency. The same composition, which is H2O, has different frequencies. Based on the temperature, it changes status. So by working on your energy, you can change your own status. And if people say, I don't feel it, I say, well, if I will start to insult you now for the next 10 minutes, how would you feel? That's energy. You're feeling a certain energy. If I start to compliment you for the next 10 minutes, you will feel in a different way. So you're feeling a different energy. Yeah, some people have the gift to feel, heat or cool or energy moving. But at the end of the day, a feeling from your body, an emotion, it is energy. Emotion is energy in motion. It's the definition of energy.
Yeah, that's a great point. Emotion is a key in the whole process as well. It's in the body and it's in the mind as well. So change the mind and you change the whole thing because they work together.
For my mind, the greatest gift that we can give somebody into their energy field is to absolutely, totally and completely believe in them. And we have something that we do through our quantum consciousness work, and we call it holding the knowing, that the client before us is an absolutely remarkable, amazing spiritual being having a human experience. Now, when we hold that knowing for that person and we are quantumly entangled with them, it raises their vibration just from being in contact with us. And ultimately, it might mean that they're in our presence and we do that, and it might be the first time that they've ever actually experienced that in their life, just by having somebody believe in them at every level. And people will feel that. And Luca's right, it can come through in your words, it can come through in if you compliment them for a period of time, let them know this, but some of this goes beyond words. If we hold a certain vibration on their behalf and we combine our energy field with them, then something happens to them that is just superb. The point I was going to make before as well is that there is a lot more scientific validation of these theories now in books like Bruce Lipton's with The Biology of Belief. Joe Dispenza's work, Rupert Sheldrake's work. These are very well-regarded scientists in their chosen fields who are talking about energy now and how consciousness changes just through our intention.
To me, it's so important to inspire skeptics, because skeptics make the best students, the best practitioners, the most diligent, and they become pioneers, if they believe, if they do that first step, if they see themselves with another pair of eyes, with their higher self eyes, they believe in themselves and they're unstoppable. So please, please, please send us more skeptics. We love them.
So let's say one of these guys decides, okay, my neighbor might be right. This is so painful. I'm gonna see that guy, even if it sounds a bit woo-woo. How does that work if they actually walk in a session? Because I think part of the rejection or the skepticism is a fear. If we demystify that, what does it look like to walk in one of your sessions?
I had a very interesting client. This is an older 75-year-old Greek matriarch who was brought in by her son, and she had no intention to be there, and she didn't believe in anything, whatever. But so we talked, and I gave her the experience. So, it's okay to be skeptic as long as you're open to experiment, right? It's quite healthy to be skeptic as long as they're open, and she was open. So we did the experiment, and then suddenly she had a stiff neck, and suddenly she turned the neck because she thought, this thing works, right? Because she cannot deny the experience. So it's not about explaining everything mentally, but if they can give them the experience, or you can do some hands-on healing and they feel the energy moving in their body, they cannot deny that. So I think nothing beats the experience. If they're skeptic, but once they have the experience, then she came back the next day and told me about everything that I suspected, but then she was converted, because you cannot deny your own experience.
Depending on the modality, some modalities will require hands-on work. Some modalities you just sit and talk and work from your energy without touching the person. And I also heard about working remotely. Does any one of you do that?
Yep, I do a lot of Skype session, remote. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Do some surrogacy work
I think
as
we
well.
all do. Yeah. Because energy's everywhere. So you can for instance, you can do a healing on somebody in front of you in Australia, and when the energy shifts, their family on the other side of the world can feel the shift. Something will happen. And yeah, I've had that happen a lot, where, working with somebody here, and 2 days later their family calls them and said, oh, I don't know what's happened, but I feel so different. Everything's changed in my life. You think, yeah, how does that happen? It's because of the energy.
Anything else you'd like to share?
Let's talk about 5G.
What's going on?
It will affect the way we are right now, right? So, we won't stop the progress, right? We won't stop the technology, but as always, the energy is a leading force. Yeah, the energy used to be 30 years before the science catches up and proves something is right? So now it's quite close. So my feeling is it's maybe 10 years gap. But what my understanding is of the 5G, we just need to it's an invitation. We have to take it as the invitation to upgrade our frequency even higher and take everyone with us. So we are affected as we are now, but there are the ways for us to teach others, to lead others by example through that, and towards a higher frequency.
I have the same feeling, but I think it's still important for the insect and plant life and any other natural life who might be able to protect itself to do something to prevent. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
So the example that Irina was sharing with me this morning and that I found really interesting is that the 5G has a vibration that's very similar to the whale's frequency, or the way they use their sonar. And so they get confused with that, and that's why they get lost and come near the shore and things like that. So I guess if it has an impact on animals, it definitely has an impact on us as well. As Irina said, we need to upgrade our frequency or do something so that we don't get confused with these artificial intelligence. I guess that's what it is.
I know it's a bit of a challenge for the brain because there's so much artificial vibration of man-made that is actually hiding the natural Schumann resonance and the Earth's magnetic field. So we cannot pick them up anymore, and we get really confused.
Is it something to really be afraid of, or is it something to use to upgrade ourselves and to get more aware, to have a more attuned sense of the vibration and who we are, and as like take care of our vibration and energy?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need to take care of our energy, but I think we can do the technology in a much safer way. We can do Wi-Fi and other things in a safe way. We just need to do it safely. That's all.
So if we want to wrap up and sum up all what we've discussed today,
I will wrap it up like, if you keep your energy clean, your mind is clear and your heart is calm. So it's ideal space to, maintain wellness. So energy work is very important because that controls everything in your system. So you keep it clean as much as possible.
So how do we keep our energy clean?
By avoiding any interferences like negative belief, self-talk, emotion that are 20 years old, that's still lingering in the body and festering. So processing whatever the body shows you, because your body will show you if you haven't processed something that is interfering. That's why the symptom comes up. And so processing that and then resolving, and then you can stay well.
Right. Yeah, that's my understanding, that the body is the physical
Yep.
manifestation of the mind. So if you're keeping something blurry up there or in your energy field, well, it becomes more and more physical until you have to treat it.
Yeah, it's like the wisdom of the body. It's like the subconscious talks through your body. If you haven't been aware of something that's going on in your system, your body will show you physically. So it's your safety mechanism. So the symptoms is very important.
What I like to do is keep myself full of myself. So making sure that my energy is expanded all the time, and so that I'm aware then of any energy that's imposing on me. And so keeping my energy clean. That's what I teach other people as well. Yeah.
Do you have some rituals or tips or something that you do to keep your personal energy clean?
Yeah, every day, whenever I think of it, I just close my eyes and just fill myself up with me. And it's pretty simple.
Cool.
Very simple. Yeah, and then I'm just aware of when I contract, because if I'm contracted, then I've allowed something to impose on me.
So it really all starts
on my energy.
with awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, being present.
I think as a final thought for, someone that works with energy, but also a skeptical person, would be just to observe nature, to observe the universe. The normal state of all of that is balance. There's no imbalances in nature. So when we experience an imbalance, it means that something has gone haywire for some reason. And then go to an energetic healer to find out what happened there. And then that person can help you to bring balance back, because we are meant to be healthy and we're meant to be happy. If something goes sideways, means that for some reason something went off track. So we need to be able to find that track and bring it back. And also something that I say to all my clients is say, be aware of your power. Stop giving your power away to work, relationship, your parents, your own mind. Energy and power are almost the same thing for me. So once you become aware of that and you can reclaim that power within yourself and bring consciousness into that power, then life takes a very different turn.
I'd also like to add to that I have seen so many times over the years that we are all magnificent beyond our wildest dreams. And when we start to believe that, we see more of it. So rather than look at us as small physical beings, if we understand that we are energetic beings that are here in human form as well as many other places, and we start to tap into more of our expanded awareness and who we really are, we start to believe that, we see more and more and more of it. So my message to everybody is keep exploring, find the next piece of the magnificent you, claim it, and then look for the next piece after that and continue to evolve.
Keeping curious, because I'd say when people are in a dark place, it's hard to believe, and it's hard to pursue that magnificent part of ourselves, and hiding in the dark where there's plenty of beautiful things happening as well.
I have a tendency to take myself too serious, right? With the years of the conscious learning and observing and contemplating, I've learned to see a difference between taking my task seriously and taking myself seriously. So now I focus on my task with all the seriousness that I could produce. But when it comes to me, the best thing is for me to sit down and draw as a 3-year-old and just see what happens, And I think that's the best I can do for myself to undo that, the complication, just get it back to how it was when we were children, when we were running and loving every little detail we could notice on this earth, and playing with flowers, and I'm sure each of us have something really, really special that we do in nature. And I would like to hear from you as well.
The energy, I think everything is energy. We are energy. We're just one, and each one of us is one individual expression of that one same thing. And so if I change me, it changes everything and everyone around me at the same time, because we're just one. And so that's very important, that everybody does the work on themselves. There's no way you're going to try and change your mom, your neighbor, your boss, or anyone else, because impossible. And the work starts with ourselves. So taking care of our own energy, having little rituals, being more aware, taking steps, not taking ourselves so seriously, and really enjoy life. We're magnificent, as Peter said. So let's embrace that and be that to the fullest.
The miracle is that when we change ourselves, everybody is changed for the better.
And that's the great word of wisdom for the end of this conversation. So thank you all for being on the call today, and we'll see you soon.